I don't know if that was a strategy to where, they were trying to keep him healthy. I don't know. I've seen goofy things like that where they've rotated guys due to health concerns, but it's tough to say, guys. And Jack Conklin being evaluated for concussion again. So you've had a different number of guys each week. We're talking about, in September to now, we're talking about, third, fourth, and fifth string tackles. And we're hoping that one of them that's questionable is able to play. So that's the state of the union for the offensive line right now.
John Greco with the Morning Boys earlier today giving the state of the Browns offensive line. We got John Fanta in 20 minutes, the Peterlin Pass in 40 minutes, and then Albert Breer at 4 o'clock. I think it's interesting that John pointed about the Wyatt Teller situation, juggling him at right guard yesterday, 2 days ago, and asking, maybe it was injury related. We do have Wyatt's going to be out for this next game against the Tennessee Titans, but then Wyatt himself said this weekend that was not the case.
No, yeah, and I thought I went off on it yesterday because I think it's important we continue to talk about it because it just doesn't make any sense to me, and we're not going to get a clear answer. They never give us a clear answer in this stuff, and that's the part of the problem in this whole scenario.
Yeah, and I guess this one lands a little different for me because there are about 10 guys on that team that I have a soft spot for. And what I mean by that is like the veterans that have been here. And I know that Wyatt, there's always been a decent chance Wyatt finishes his career somewhere else. I know it seems like for whatever reason they're reticent to extend him. I think this is trash. And the more I've thought about it, when we started talking about it yesterday, I didn't realize how mad it made me. And the more I thought about it, I've only gotten madder about this situation.
I made a point, and you visibly did get angry, and then you turned and went to the caller as if you were trying to process how mad you were at the point.
Yeah, well, because I didn't want you to think I was mad at you. I'm mad at, the whole thing, the only thing that I can fall back on that they always point out is we do right by the players, right? That's the whole thing. And it turns out that's not entirely true. Because, and by the way, I think Tevin Jenkins would be a great starting right guard next year because I think Tevin, his only problem in Chicago was he couldn't stay healthy.
He's graded out really nicely this year. In the time he's been on the field, I thought he's been serviceable.
The problem is you have and have had a top 5 right guard for the Cleveland Browns for the last 7 years. And unless there's something they're not telling us with Wyatt off the field, unless there's some personal dynamic that we don't know about, which I would find hard to believe given that Wyatt has been one of the faces of the Browns for the last 7 years. To have him, to watch Cam Robinson, and again, I think Cam's an okay football player. He's been put in a bad situation. To watch Cam Robinson on every other play get driven 7 yards back farther than the interior offensive lineman. Same thing with KT Leviston, certainly with Jack Conklin this year. To watch those guys continue to play and continue to play really poorly. And then to watch a guy who's been a part of this locker room making his 100th start as a Cleveland Brown, to watch him be treated like a scrub while there are guys on special teams making the same damn mistakes. I don't understand how Wyatt's the only guy in the NFL we can hold accountable for some mythical bad play when he grades out as your best offensive lineman all year long. I don't understand.
Not only all year long, but in that game yesterday too. Like, that's the difference. It'd be like if you looked at the numbers, or even when you're watching the game, you're like, oh boy, he's all laying it out there. And I guess if he was told this was coming the entire time, that's one of the best offensive line performances, at least for the first half before all the injuries that we'd seen from this team all year. And then with Wyatt, again, he graded out as your top lineman in the entire game. Not only top lineman, your top offensive player in that game.
And I don't understand why they don't want to do business with this guy going forward. Is it that he doesn't just wax Kevin Stefanski's ass every chance he gets?
Or is it because in the postgame he wanted to make sure that everyone knew that it was definitely this rotation thing they discussed and not some sort of phantom injury that he thought people were going to discuss it as?
And I'll be honest with you, I don't buy this crap. I understand this time of year if a guy is banged up. I'm not saying Wyatt isn't banged up, but I don't believe from the team that Kevin Stefanski knew on Sunday that he was going to be already not there the next week. Because the Browns consistently say nothing, because their messaging is crap, and because, quite frankly, they already kind of jobbed Wyatt Teller and with the way they treated him on Sunday, I'm inclined to not believe, he's too hurt to play this next week. There's something rotten here.
Yes.
And guys, if they did this to some jamoke on special teams who just blew 7 plays this last weekend, or who clearly didn't give effort enough on special teams, those are the guys you do this with. Cam Thomas with the dunderheaded move of all time to cost you to at least finish off that game a couple weeks ago. Those are the guys you do it to, not a guy who's earned the respect of the community. Like, I do not get this. It feels completely fraudulent, and it feels like another made-up thing, and it just pisses me off that they're doing this to Wyatt Teller.
It just doesn't make sense as to why they're doing it, though. Like, Tevin Jenkins, unless they think he's part of the future, but he's a free agent at the end of this year, too. And so this is the part I don't understand. Like, why get Jenkins more work in that moment? Teller is not only playing well, you need him to play well because he helps out everybody else around you, and it sets up better if he's in these games. I'm trying to figure it out. I mean, I know you said yesterday you had a couple DMs or people saying that they thought that maybe this was part of the tank or part of the losing process, and it's like, I don't know. Maybe it is. I can't figure it out because it makes no sense from a football standpoint because he's one of your best players at this point.
Yeah, and again, how you treat your best players, how you treat the Browns, try and do everything to appease Myles Garrett, as they should, by the way. That's how the NFL works. Keep your best players happy. Make Myles happy. That's smart. The idea that, and by the way, they've done everything to protect Joe Bitonio, who has not been as good this year. Like, I'm so appreciative Joe came back for one more year. He came, the organization totally sandbagged this guy and probably promised him the house like they tend to do everybody, but he's not been very good. I have not seen Joe Bitonio been sat in the cuck chair for half a game for, again, a nice player in Tevin Jenkins. But for Wyatt Teller to not get the basic respect of this is infuriating. And then, if you're going to do that, okay, do more than your crap lip service, because it's apparent Wyatt wants it out there of what the truth of Sunday was.
Yes, as he should. Now, it's interesting, though. I'm just trying to figure it out. In long term, I don't know generally if he's even injured right now, if they just want some sort of look at Tevin Jenkins. That's a real problem that I can't trust their injury reports. I can't trust what they're telling us.
Well, and I'll tell you right now what it makes me feel like is there's just no chance that Wyatt's back next year, and that's...
I think that was what I said yesterday that got you pissed off.
Like, which is
like, if you're going to treat him this way already, you're already setting it up, and you're setting the table up to say, because you don't give a 3-year extension and a bunch of money to a guy that you're already rotating Tevin Jenkins in and out for.
And also, why the hell would he want to be here? Like, Wyatt's one of the 3 or 4 guys after the deadline that said, I want to be here. And listen, I'm not going to knock Myles for it. We had our do-si-do back in the offseason. Your best player literally at one point said he didn't want to be here anymore. And you have kowtowed and you have bowed down to the great Myles Garrett, as you should. I want to make that clear, as you should. And then a guy who after the trade deadline said, no, I'm happy I'm here. I want to be here. I want to be in Cleveland the rest of my career. And then you treat him like some special teams scrub, like a nudnik. And like, again, to me, that's where honesty does matter. Like, where Wyatt has to come out and say, yeah, it's performance-related, I guess. That guy has to say that? You don't have the balls to say it? Oh, well, we keep that in-house. No, you're covering your ass and you're being fake. That's all that is. Mm-hmm. I understand there are times to keep things in-house and times when not to. I understand it. I'm always going to be on the wrong side of this because I always want transparency because I think the people that pay hundreds upon thousands of dollars to go see this team deserve it. But when we get into deserved things, I know the NFL stands for not for long. But Wyatt Teller deserves better than this. From a scrub-ass offensive line coach. And by the way, he might be the one guy who could be here next year off the 5 guys that are playing right now.
Yeah, I mean, no complaints from me. Why
am I just continuing to get more pissed the more we talk about it?
It's the Tomlin carryover is what it is. you get your round up and then it just kind of, that's like the runway to get going. I don't know. This is where I was yesterday. I've calmed down since then. I thought yesterday I had a lot of anger towards it, but it's not really even from like a protecting Wyatt Teller side of it. I think yours is like protecting Wyatt and like all that he's earned and everything. I get tired of the idea that the Browns continuously they think we're idiots. They think we're just going to believe everything that they put out there. I mean, this goes to, I can tell you 25 different examples of what we've seen over the previous couple years where they'll tell you this is how it is, and because enough players are they too scared to speak out? I don't know what it is.
No, I mean, they've made sure to eradicate any of the leaks, to run guys out who they felt they couldn't trust with a message.
I mean, talk to some of the beat reporters. Like, they'll tell you they've never had as much limited access as what they have right now around this Browns team. And like, it's such a focal point of forming relationships with these players, like understanding how to get some of the best information, and a lot of that has just been stripped away. And now we're at the spot where a player can tell you in the post game that it was again, as dumb as it is, for performance issues, and then the response after that was by Stefanski multiple times and by the team, no, he's injured, and on top of that, he's not even going to play next week. Okay, it's not what the player told us after the game.
Yeah, it's just I can understand you want to keep the message in house. I can understand the different ways they're trying to do stuff, but at some point it's disrespectful to Wyatt. It's disrespectful again. Every time from now on,
but the other part of that though is
real quick.
Go ahead.
Every time you hear that organization from now say things like "we want to do right by the player," think back to Wyatt Teller and how they're treating him right now.
So why are they doing this to Wyatt is something we also have to be asking in this equation as well. Why, if you're really trying to win and you're trying to put your best players out there and you're trying to give Shedeur the best chance to succeed, why would you take one of your best linemen off of the field and the guy that graded the best in that game on Sunday? Why would you do that?
I've honestly thought about this for 48 hours, but certainly the last 24 hours more focused, and I can't come up with a point that I watch Wyatt. I look what they're doing. He does not look like a problem. I cannot say that for half of the offensive line. He does not look like a problem. Does he not shine Kevin's shoes? Because Kevin does not like personalities. Kevin does not like anybody that might be a threat to Kevin just going into the room and scheming crap up.
Did they take the idea of it's a fact-finding mission just a little bit too far, maybe? Is that the idea? Like, they really are in this spot where they're just trying to figure out if Tevin Jenkins can be cheaper than Wyatt Teller, so they're going to give him the opportunities? Is that like the big play here? Because you can do this stuff with offensive linemen and people aren't going to cause a stink the same way you can do it. You can't do this with other positions where you just take the best players off the field. If Myles Garrett was just subbed and rotated out for the remainder of the game, we would know that, we would identify that, we would talk about that. They do this stuff with these type of players, and I feel like I don't know that they care about winning at this point. I really don't.
They've done it with the left tackle spot earlier this year.
It's a 10-8 game at the half, and you're subbing out Wyatt Teller. I don't think they're really trying to win.
Well, but remember, KT Leviston and Cam Robinson splitting the left tackle spot. KT Leviston and some other Jamoke before Cam Robinson got here. I don't know what Mike Bloomgren. Listen, I think Mike Bloomgren's got a great NFL pedigree. I do. You know, if Bill Callahan says you're a good coach, I'll try and believe you as best as I can until I see some evidence that makes me believe. But this rotating tackle crap is college stuff. You don't rotate offensive linemen. Continuity is the most important thing to offensive linemen, and we're not in. And certainly in a game where you were in it. We're not to the evaluation standpoint. If we were, Ethan Posick, who, by the way, has played pretty decently recently, would be on the bench because you got to see a really extended look from Luke Whippler as well.
I don't get it. It's a 10-8 game. I don't understand what else anybody could tell me when you take one of your best linemen off the field. And by the way, while your offensive line is crashing out all around you as is, it doesn't make any sense, Nick. It doesn't.